What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, y'all? Welcome. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. Good morning. I'm Angelica. Welcome to my channel. Hope everybody is good and having a wonderful day. Come share this video with you all. We're gonna go down memory lane just a little bit. Let's go down memory lane, y'all. I haven't gotten to the point yet. I'm gonna have somebody that's technology savvy because I don't be feeling like doing all that stuff sometimes where you can put the little stuff, the little videos in there, and then you put the little bubbles for people to see. So I want y'all to use your imagination this morning. Let's go back old school. Use your imagination, use your mind, open up your thinking cap. Okay, let's go down memory lane a little bit. So first, let me say this. Let me talk a little bit about use my notes so I can stay on track and stay on point. A little older you get, you got to take your notes so you don't lose your train of thought. I know y'all have had those moments sometimes where you go in the room, like, what was I looking for? Or you be doing something, you get sidetracked, and forget what you was doing. So I just go ahead and put my little notes down so I don't forget, so I stay focused. You gotta learn yourself. But anywho, so with experience, let's talk about experience first. They tell you they want you to have at least 6 months to a year experience before they can hire you, or whatever. And a lot of times, especially if you new to working or maybe you just got a degree, how you gonna get experience if somebody doesn't give you a chance, right? If they don't help you get the experience, how you gonna get the experience? People expect you just to come out already have 6 months to a year experience, and that's not always the case. So when I tell some people about even me starting in God's time when the Lord gave it to me or whatever, and I was telling him, Lord, like, you want to use me to do this, this business, or even just stepping out on faith. And as I said, going little bit by little bit, as he leads me, striving to be obedient, being a water walker, stepping out, doing what I've never expected to do, do what you to do. That's what faith is, right? Even when you can't see it, even when it's not all together, that unknown thing, just doing it. So I tell people sometimes that with this job or this assignment or my calling, my purpose, whatever you want to call it, that the Lord gave it to me. Okay? Like I tell people, he hired me for a job that I didn't even apply for. That's real. But then at the same time, you know what? A lot of times you have to think about, especially as believers, if you were to always do what you want to do as far as your experience, or you think those are the jobs a lot of times that may not even be for you. So when it's a little bit, unknown, or he just pushes you into something, a lot of times it's because of things that you've been through, experience, your calling, and your purpose, like I was saying earlier. So a part of my calling and my purpose with him, blessing me with the vision, was started in God's timing, and the obedience part of, can I trust him? Even though it doesn't make sense, even though I don't know what I'm doing. But at the same time, I've been learning as I go throughout my whole life. That's a part of the growth process. But I was thinking about even the experience that I've obtained throughout my life. And now I use that to help other people, to be a better mother, to be a better person in every aspect of my life, because, you're supposed to learn, you're supposed to grow, you're supposed to mature. And that lie that you can make mistakes and everything has to be perfect is a lie. Okay, everything does not have to be perfect. But then learn from other people. Okay, learn from, we children, we get mad when our parents tell us what not to do. That they're trying to help us, and we feel like they just, don't want us to do anything or have fun. I've learned the hard way. From experience, things that I've encountered, hurt, pain, etc. That's what has humbled me. Okay, so going down memory lane, just a few different things I want to talk about briefly. One of them, like I said, that just this Uncle Tom spirit that is roaming the land is irking my nerves. So let's talk about a few of these things. Okay, the Uncle Tom, the puppet, the mental slavery. Okay, you see him on your newscast, you see him on your job, you see some of them in your family. they're everywhere. Okay, where they have become so consumed and just can't think for themselves. And like I said, we learn and we grow. We've all had our moments, but at some point, when the smoke clears, you gotta see what it for what it is. Okay, people you see even with broad aspect of entertainment or even news and stuff. You just they did the wrong thing or they may have tried to justify stuff, and it's just like you don't even know they're using you too. Okay, just because you got a degree, just because even on your job, you had them ones where they won't say nothing to the boss that's not a person of color. But then with us, they get a little height on them, get to smelling themselves. They'll be quick to tell you what not to do, and or even get jealous of your work ethic, or just because they have the authority um over you in your position or whatever it is. You know how folks do. Don't act like y'all don't know how black folks do sometimes. They take it too far. They take their job all the way serious, where they just can end up being shady. You just it's horrible. But then too, you see the intellectualized part where people will just you got that one black person in the whole picture of other different races, right? But you got that one prize. That's what they said back in the day. I used to hear. You got that one prize, that one person that help put a stamp on everything to make everything seem like it's okay. To look at it from our perspective, that's manipulation. Okay, that's it's manipulation, and then it's the Uncle Tom spirit, that puppet spirit. They're using you to help with foolishness. Okay, I don't own the definition. I don't own the right to this definition. Okay, a co-conspirator is a fellow conspirator, someone engaged in a secret plan by multiple people to do something evil or illegal. But now we have an uprising of people. You know what you're doing, but you're still doing it. So you still have people that are co-conspirator. They're affiliated, as far as wrong, evil. We live in a corrupt world. So thank you, Holy Spirit. Start real quick. So because of experiencing things that I went through in my life, as far as from jobs, from relationships, from choices I made, from making bad decisions, God began to allow the Holy Spirit to teach me, as far as with my attitude, how I treated people, how I care for people, whatever it is from across the board. But He didn't do it in an easy way. As I mentioned to people, we know experience is the best teacher. So God will use your life and circumstances and put you in the fire, put you in situations where what is it? Help you to learn from what you're going through. Okay, so let me break that down a little bit. So He taught me with my attitude. Started dealing with my attitude when I was younger. As far as allowing me to be around people with bad attitude, allowing me to be around people that were nasty, that were like me, that were like me at that time. I say sometimes you meet your match. So use that to let me see a different perspective of myself. As far as you need to work on your attitude. Even too, where He would deal with me when He would be like, say hello, because nowadays people don't. A lot of people are so nasty. Where a lot of times back in the day, and because I'm an '80s baby, or even we hear about our parents talking about when you saw your neighbors, you made and you spoke. You wasn't like the Karens and just watching everybody instead of watching TV or watching for other stuff. You watching everybody else. You don't speak and oh, I was raised when you come in close contact with somebody, you speak. But then at the same time, just like I can speak, you can speak too. I have to check like that at work all the time or people around me. When you come in a vicinity or you come around people, it shouldn't always be the same person that speak anyway. You can speak, you got a mouth. We don't get that anymore. Just the common courtesy, the common respect for each other. Treating people like you want to be treated. So if you're nasty, what would you expect back? If you're kind, what would you expect back? Sometimes you may get the opposite of either one, but sometimes especially you gotta learn time. You have to learn sometimes brush stuff off. It's not worth it because you have some people that road rage, that's killing people, people that are nasty, fight, shoot battles. Sometimes you gotta learn to mature and just walk away. It don't always feel good, but God will bless you for that. Just you have those situations where people they don't speak anymore. So he began to didn't always want to do it. I didn't always feel like it. I didn't always want to be nice. I mean, they want nice to me. So that taught me too how you can shift the atmosphere. Okay, because I've had people even in the store compliment them. Girl, I like your hair. Or, even a man, how you doing? Good morning. Just respect. Certain things in little areas he started working on me to help me throughout life. But then getting the picture is it was going to help me later. Okay? Because there's so much that's going on right now. If it wasn't for God dealing with bitterness, now I have to continuously pray because anything can seep in. Stuff can trigger you. But that's when, God will deal with you to reel it back in. You're going too far. Don't get caught up in that. Cut that off. Turn that off. Don't consume yourself with that. Because certain things, if you see too much of the killing and the evil and the hurt, that's some of the reason why some of the stuff is the way it is, why they show certain things to get to a place of rage, to anger. So you got to deal with your issues and deal with your heart so you don't always give in so much to food and you let people do you any kind of way. But it is a balance. Learning to have a balance. They don't make you no punk. They make you smart, okay? They make you smart. But at the same time, you do check folks. Because I've had those ones where, you have to check people in the nice way. I don't say nice nasty. Some people say nice nasty, but in the nice way to where people sometimes get too comfortable with the disrespect or, treating people wrong. You can't do everybody like that, especially the time we're living in. So anywho, I'm gonna talk to you about two videos that I recently saw. So as I said, like I said, the co-conspirator, you have people that are affiliated, that you contribute to the evil. Like some people, like I said, they think they're good. I don't do no wrong, or they think just because they may not say nothing, you contribute to the drama. You add fuel to the fire by not either saying anything, putting a stamp on it, even just how you live, with the red line and all these different things, you help contribute to it. So when you living comfortable and good and you watch things happening and transpiring and you don't say nothing, you're a co-conspirator. You're a co-conspirator on your job when you have the Uncle Tom or the puppet that have the mental slavery aspect of you don't even respect anybody. You only respect the white man. So that's why I say it's important to heal because certain things that I see the Lord hadn't dealt with me, I will be bitter. I will hate. And that's why I say I can when some people are like that. I'm not saying it's right, but I understand. Okay? And all I get is get wisdom, knowledge, but get understanding out of everything. Okay? So you will have some people that, you wonder why people pop off or end up hurting you or different things, you treat people any kind of way. You funny acting, you shady. I don't know, let's call it for what it is. If it's a spade, it's a spade. All this sugarcoating stuff and like things are not what it is, being delusional, it is exactly what it is. So two of the videos. So one of the videos I saw was one on Joe Biden basically saying as far as the same thing. Okay. That and unfortunately he was saying that they should be used to being experimented on. So in the little TikTok video, just show it, I can't do that. So imagine, the people that were showing it, they were just like, did he just say that? Even had Kevin Hart on there, just like, we're not gonna. So this isn't nothing new. We just starting to hear it more. Your true colors coming out, but then you still follow stuff. TikTok, it was like with the news, where different people were saying that they were going to use, because of COVID and the beginning, that be for those who people of color, that you may be deprived of health care, you may be deprived of certain benefits because of COVID, or basically, let's just put it in layman's terms. Some of y'all, we're gonna let you die. This is nothing new. So when we even look through our history, so this is the part when I be like scratching my head, and just like shocked. And it's shocking, but it's not surprising. But at the same time, to hear people say certain things, it's like, I won't say thank you, but the truth coming out. But was that last one that I said, they wanted to put it in law that it was okay. Basically, people of color, so that may not just be me, minorities or whatever, but especially, us. They can let you die, basically. Um, they can deprive you of certain benefits, health, whatever. But we've seen this has been happening where, where people may go to, you don't get the same privileges. This is nothing new. So some people are alarmed and surprised, but we see history repeat. Now it's blatant. It's so blunt. So when I talked about the bus on the last video, it's not just a bus when people talking about the economy. Yeah, that's a part of it. But then you have to think about that bus where people just snap. Okay, the enemy feels like he knows. Okay, so he uses people. Those tricks going on. Where people be like, you know what? Look, I'm just gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna do it because when you get away with stuff for so long, you feel like it's okay. Somebody get killed point blank. No thoughts about no remorse. A person of color, it's nothing. Don't think twice about it, right? But then I guess too, you think about, let's logically think about it, just realistically. If you got gangs, you always hearing about Chicago, you're hearing about different things in the black community. Oh, they're killing themselves. So that makes it okay for us to kill them too. But just for even a person to think like that, it's off and it's real. It doesn't make it right, but it's messed up. It's hurtful. It just a lot, just thinking about it. Does that make sense? So basically, you telling me, do what I do. No, do as I say, but not what I do. So basically, I want you to do what they tell you to do, but when you do it, you can't get away with it, because we all know other people that aren't people of color that they do get away with, we would not get away with. You'll be under the shit going on. Where like I said, people's true colors are coming out, how you really feel. Okay? On all different levels, all different races, all different backgrounds. It might be in family, it might be on your job, being dealt with, right? So some people may think, okay, so if they're already killing themselves, but the thing about it, they forget you help contribute to this, right? Let's think about contribution. You help not only with the redlining, with the drugs in the community, those different things. But then so many are entangled with it, right? Because you're used in people of color, right? As far as the entertainment. So let's think back, like I said, to history. What was one of the main things that we were good in serving? History itself. So you think because you got $1 million or you got a drop or you got a deal, you're still being dealt with wisely, right? Let's think about that. Okay, so you rapping about guns, shooting, and killing. People watch these videos, they watch these movies, different things. They go out doing it. That's one. Let's think of another. Okay, video games, and this ain't just for my folks. I'm talking in general too. Then you have children that watch these video games with all the killing, the shooting, virtual reality, AI type stuff. Then they go out and do it. But then we're trying to figure out, why would they do something like that? Little Johnny is such a good boy, but look at what he's consuming. He's watching all that. He's watching killing all day. He's watching shooting all day. Whether it be a movie, whether it be Hunger Games. The mindset, it is a condition and it is a control. So the thing about it is, history repeating itself, being entangled into when I see the women with the excessively big behind. I don't know her name. Was it Sarah? Don't quote me on that. The lady's name in history that had the real big behind that, was ridiculed. Go research the story. How it's a mockery. Now, when you even have the black women, a lot of us are naturally voluptuous or bones. Okay? Whether you are or not, be comfortable in whatever you're in. Okay, so the entanglement part. Okay, you do the same thing. It's a mockery. So you don't even realize you're being dealt with wisely because it seems cool. I'm infatuated with my body. I'm infatuated with my butt, with my breast. All these different things. You're being dealt with wisely. And we know with men, you showing it all. Man is showing it all. Somebody's gonna look. You're gonna become interested. You're gonna want it. But it's like basically showing us what to do, how to do it to help destroy ourselves. So this is why even now I don't listen to certain people anymore. I'm not a starstruck person anyway. So it's like you don't even realize certain rappers, certain people in the movie industry, uh, just basic stuff, teachers, different aspects of life that we're being dealt with wisely in the Black community to help lead our own people to destruction, a genocide. So what is it if you know, it's like everybody else knows but us, that we help and lead to destruction, very talented, very gifted, but let me alter their talents. Let me play on these women that thirsty and need affection, that are looking for love, that want money, want to have this, have that. Let me play on that and use it. That's where that division comes from. It's orchestra. Even like, okay, the prison industrial system. Okay, we know with that, even with the drugs in our community. That's why you gotta look at the correlation, both sides of it. So it's like you made obstacles, or you placed obstacles in our path. Okay, I mean other people too, but right now I'm talking about my folks. Okay, because we're still dealing with this right now in 2022, in January. It's the 13th, I think. 2022. We still dealing with this. That's the problem. We don't want to talk about it. We're too comfortable. And that's the thing about the Uncle Toms and the mental slavery. They'll still remind you of me. They'll still remind you. You got people in entertainment. You got people in everyday life where they will remind you who you are. That you are nothing. You're nothing but a mere puppet. That I'm using you. What is it? That's the part where, yeah, that happened to us, because like I said, I mentioned with this video, we should be used to being experimented on. That was too much right there for him to say that out loud. But anyway, it's good to know how people feel though. Okay? But what is it now? How certain things, different races and different cultures, or let me say minorities, experience, right? So when you have those co-conspirators, or those who are that now your experience of certain things, happen to buy noodles in a cup and oodles and noodles and stuff like that, things that you never thought you would have to encounter. It does it with the whole same thing mandate and all this other stuff. It don't feel good the shoe is on the other foot, right? This is why it's important to treat people like you want to be treated. Think sometimes outside the box. Okay? So it's so easily to be manipulated. So you think about characteristics that we pick up as people as a whole, with manipulation, the narcissism, the evil mindset, the thirsty for money. Where do you think we got these things from? Just even throughout Black history. Talking, we in the last days for real. We were just TikToking and smiling and kicking and just like this stuff ain't happening. Don't wait till the 5. Don't wait. It's like you don't even until it's too late. Then you want to see curses, things that God is allowing to happen. So we're seeing plagues. You basically say this whole pandemic is a plague, but on top of God is using it and allowing it. Right? Okay, so He'll allow the enemy to do things and use it. Ooh, He will use it to get our attention. He will use it to help people get uneasy. Again, that's like in Job moment. He will allow certain things to help your life, or we just out here turned up, but not even knowing that you will alter from who you're supposed to be. Be the best you that you can be. That's why I tell people, even when you hear all these things about people hate each other, or why we have the division of certain things, as far as, and I even get rubbed now to saying African American, but just people amongst our own selves. It should make things, you get to a point when you mature, you treat people the way you treat them, and I get it. I understand. You're right with a lot of the stuff you're saying, but it becomes hate, it becomes bitterness. That's why I say God has to deal with things with heart. Even now when I'm looking at certain things, because I'm like, Lord, Lord, expose it all. But then you wonder why the kids, diseases are coming out that people can't, something doesn't add up. They have a sickness that we can't put our finger on it until it hits you personally. So if things don't look the way we thought they were going to look, just different things, because we're entangled. As long as I'm good and my family is good, as long as they're going to the best schools, it's not me, it's not me, my family dealing with mental illness, battling demons, right? Then when it hits home, it hits close. So let me explain it in this way. How you would have, like Pharaoh, he would do to the people what he wanted done to them, as far as the men. Like he's saying, kill the Hebrew boys, do this. But then it didn't feel good. But you just said, you want to, if you really come into yourself and who you are, what a power source you would be. So why not distract them through the music industry? Because they are, they're dealing with hurt and pain. We're using you to help the magnitude, distort the children. So we need using to help be of destruction. I always give you a note on the side when I talk about that stuff. That should tell you stuff too. Whenever you begin to hear people talk about real stuff and truth, don't talk about that. Get over that. Don't leave it alone. Don't. It's not a threat. Okay, let's keep going. So I just wanted y'all to just think about, open your mind, think about the correlation of things that we're, and some people don't realize, your parents might be dealing with it, may not be dealing with certain things that they ignored or overlooked. And, I try to, a grand possibility that your kids gonna deal with, or your grandkids gonna deal with. Those cute grandkids. I don't understand how this could happen. They killed their kids, or I'm saying extreme stuff, because that's what we see. We ignore so many different things, but happen or unfold. We looking, you got folks looking dumbfounded, like, I don't know where this is coming from. Judgment. When you don't face them demons, when you don't deal with certain issues, we in a generation, we in a time because you don't want to talk about it and deal with it. You have an uprising of a lot in the Black Christians. I have to learn how to love right, heal. So you're talking about the damage that has been caused, but then so many will point fingers. When you help contribute to it, you got handling. So then you got karma. You reap what you sow. What does that say? What goes around comes around. May not have been, So then we begin to see destruction, pain, your generation. Then God talks about coming from things that I dealt with, that God was dealing with me in reference to my own self and my own life and how I treat people, as a whole. Even my own people. Some of them get on my nerves. But he taught me to still love. Love thy neighbors, I love thyself. It's easy. When your kids acting a fool, you start to see yourself in them. It'll teach you patience. Okay? Certain things, because you're not learning the easy way, many of us learn the hard way because we don't want to deal with instruction and clues. The breakdown of just all these different things, it is real. So this is nothing new as far as the takeover spirit. Okay? Basically, everybody has been taught to realize, I don't say white folks, but you got different white people. You got Europeans, you got all this, you got all these different things. So it's not by the uproar, the different things that are happening. It's prophecy. Satan knows that's who their father. Okay, and some people don't even realize you be entangled with Satan, but just by the things you expose yourself to. Then someday when your kids are acting a fool, or you got anxiety coming out, and depression, and mental illness, you got autism, cancer, diseases, and believe it, the Bible talks about that we would do greater work. So God allows certain things to happen because you forgot those days of old where you had the power to pray against certain things. Have people that he has assigned and designated, people to be delivered. Okay. So then when I was thinking about a lot of things, I said it makes sense. Things I do see my people and just being dealt with wisely. Okay? So this is even when I say with parenting and parents and stuff, whatever. You don't, and you don't correct your children. Yes, it's unfortunate you come from single homes, different things, when you know better, you do better. You are not your child's best friend all the time. So if you know your child is doing wrong, you sit down in it. So then you have the picture where, okay, we can kill them, we can do this. They living like a thug. She's a thot, or she's old digger, all this stuff. We can treat them like that because they're doing it to themselves, being dealt with wisely. Even though manipulated it and put those situations, circumstances, laws into effect, right? But then at the same time, you'll see the same outcome. I don't care how much money to the boss, you're still being used and manipulated. But that don't treat people like that. So when I say as a whole, as a collective, it's too many that does do it. You have the blatant racists and people that want power control. You have the behind the scenes ones, the ones that they know how to deal with you wisely. They act like they like when they really don't. You have some people that will into it and don't want to treat everybody like that. You know, you have some black folk because of hurt and pain. That's why you feel, forget the white man, forget this person, forget these folks. I don't care about your own people because it's orchestrated. Even minorities, certain things that we see and experience, it's nothing new under the sun. Prophecy is manifesting, even in the school system. When I sit back and look at even things for my own kids, that's what I say, I don't do this for me. I got kids that I'm thinking about now. I had to take cell phones. It's too much what our kids are exposed to. But we wanted it, right? So you want your lust. You want to live a life of fulfillment, partying, clubbing, in your best, you count the cost of what comes with it. So then you wonder why when you get into, even just being realistic, when people get older, you wonder why your kids won't take care of you. Oh, I can't do that. You got even adults that family get older. Oh, I can't do that. That's why I say this is the time to know who is around you, what is what, and get your heart right. I'm at a point where I allow God to fight my battles. You know, you have to choose your battles because something beyond what we even have a capacity or even a mindset or the ability to even fight. But we don't fight like the world as far as spiritual warfare, different things. Okay? We don't fight the same. Sometimes you got to get to treat people wrong based on race, color, gender, whatever. So let me get to it. Okay? Like I said, it makes sense what it is. Some people, you're not a threat, but you're a threat. So what people a threat from that aspect. If you're still entangled and you're still doing stuff like that, we all got issues. People got skeletons in the closet, addiction, things that you got to ask God to help you with, to deliver you from. It's a day-to-day process. Whatever issues who you are. We didn't know who we were. God has been giving us ways unstable, but anywho, so you're not a threat at the same time. So we have so many that so-called fear, right? You fear people of color. Really, it's hate. It kills somebody point blank range, no remorse. I've been seeing too many of that right now, where point blank range, no remorse, don't even flinch. That's you justifying. It's like how many people gotta lose their life for folks to wake up, for your children, for people's jobs to be like so people are confused on why things are happening at a broader aspect like the pandemic. You don't understand, you don't want to listen. God will have your undivided attention. So a lot of things why people respond is from fear, so-called, that's what they say. But it's hate. And, sometimes anybody, when you got bitterness and them issues that you can't see on the outside, that you can cover up with different things, just a fake hello, how you doing, sermon. You can actually see behind what you see on the outside, that they shifty, they shady. Sometimes with some people it takes time, over time to acquire, I guess, through their fruit and stuff. This is why it is so important in our community. This is why it's so important to show people that, as far as us, as far as people that look like me, that yes, you can make mistakes. Everybody, we're not built the same. We're not wired the same. We don't have the same walk, talk. Everybody's not going to understand, even whatever race and whatever nationality you're from. It's like an understood with your race, right? Or with your nationality, as far as things that you experience, whatever. It's understanding, for the most part. We will stand with everybody else, but who will stand with us? And I ain't talking about these fake movements. And even with that, if you don't stand for something, what is it saying? If you stand for something, you'll fall for anything. My homegirl used to say that all the time. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. So you see a lot of people that are falling for what? Strong delusion, falling and dying by the sword. So you should know use basic common sense. Okay? If you don't, it's going to possibility you want people watch. You watch Scarface, gangs, whatever. It's going to come back. What goes around comes. Okay? You do have people that do wrong, and people will justify hurting, losing their lives. Tell me about that part then. So then you say that we're free. As a believer, whom the Father set free is free indeed, but it's a mindset. Because when you think about on the realistic part from out here, it's the same. It's history repeating itself. But the Bible speaks about in the last days, knowledge to be increased. Regardless of how entangled you are, you end up alone and by yourself. So it is important our communities using your story, but then the sad part about it is, even when you think throughout, you just look back, every time we try to come together, they try to kill off the movement. Well, God is not in it. That's why I thank God for Pastor Darby, anointed man. Anything that we do, I kill it off. But united, we stand, divided, we fall. Everybody else, support and everything else. But then they don't do the same. These are about from real life, day-to-day stuff. You can support people, and then they won't even support you. That'd be family. You learn from it and you grow. That means you know how to take folk, but then too, when it comes around him, I don't know, let's get it. But anywho, you get to a point where you learn from it. That way, when you see something familiar, a familiar spirit or somebody that's similar to that. You can kind of peep it out like games, you kind of see they have the same characteristics. They might just look different, might be a different person. It's the basics of life. Okay? Use what you go through in life, use your life experiences, circumstances, things throughout history, things from every day, from generation, use it to wake up and pay attention. To recognize what's happening and what's unfolding. Because it's unfortunate when you are a co-conspirator to help lead your own people to destruction. Or when you have other races that like they can get away with it, I can do it too. You are accountable. Everybody's accountable. That's justice, right? You can cry, weep, and holler, but if you help contribute to where your sons and daughters may be, you're accountable. Lead by example. Prove people wrong. Okay? A lot of times people will, we the stereotypes of everybody is the same. We do, that's a natural thing that we do when you get judged as a collective, a stereotype as a collective. You think everybody's the same. I've had to fight stereotypes, as far as being a single mom, certain choices, or you can't do me like you do everybody else, but in a respectful way. It drew some people to love me, it drew some people to hate me. That's a part of life. Everybody's not going to like you. That's life, okay? If you got too many people following you or liking you, you should be a little leery because it's probably a few out of that bunch that's shady and that's shifty, whether it be family, whether it be your friends, your homeboys, whether it be somebody on the job. That's why I say taking the basics and applying it to every aspect of your life. Things that you've experienced, things that you've went through. Like I said, as God began to deal with me, He used the basic things in my life. From my own experiences, it opened me up to even pay attention to other people, to where now, even just being empathetic and compassionate, He had to deal with me first. So I would be like other people where I get it, but it's not right. Where you be angry and bitter, and I understand. So that's why it's important to deal with your issues. Be the best you that you can be. You don't got to be with everybody else. Stay in your lane. People are drawn to you. You can see it many times. People are drawn to people that are different. And then they copy, they mock, and they do the same thing. All the above. Dare to be different. That's what I tell my girls. Dare to be different. Look at your mama. Use me as an example. Okay? That's why it's important to change and to grow and to persevere and progress. That you do not have to be a product of your environment. You don't have to be, even when they put a stamp on you, oh, you're this and you're that. Break the mold. Sometimes that you don't have to be ideal like you've been conditioned to be. But at the same time, you reap what you sow. It may seem fun and dandy while you're doing it in your sin, while you have all these women, while you living your life the way you think you want to do it. If it's evil, or even if it's just basic content, that's right and wrong. If it's bringing about hurt and pain, if it's bringing about hit, if it's bringing destruction, if it's bringing you're losing your mind, you don't know how to, you're treating men, you become evil. It's too much. The issues that you have that you didn't want to deal with. Some that you acquired throughout your generation, and some that you acquired on your own. Because we'll be quick to blame and point the finger at other people, but then you don't know about the things that you did. That's one of the biggest things that God dealt with me about. Taking accountability for myself first. Learning where I made mistakes at, where I did. Not saying that other people didn't contribute to it, but that's how you heal, how you grow. If you can't face your own stuff first, you wonder why all these different things happen to you, or you think you may be getting by, or I'm making money, I got my house, I got this and I got that, and I'm living big. But then when them demons come back to face you, them issues, those old relationships or things that were living dormant rise back up. That's what the triggers going on. Then you're trying to figure out where this come from. Then deal with your issues. And it's important, like it's a blessing that I can talk to my parents, my mother, not my father, about different things, that comes to maturity and growth. Everybody's not there, everybody's not gonna get there. So that's why you have to learn to heal and guard your heart, because everybody's not gonna have parents that accept I contributed to this. That's why you have to guard your heart. But one of the biggest things, especially in these times, knowing that you have somebody there that's gonna have your back. Because I see it a lot in healthcare, where you give your kids everything, but when they get real and you get them same kids, they could be adults. They be waiting for you to die. Thinking about a check, thinking about money, but you pay them everything. They can't even help wash you up. Oh, that's nasty. That was your mama or your daddy. They were there for you. Or think about the ones who wrongfully do people. And you wonder why people don't come and see you or don't want to help you. This is for all races. But you don't think about possibly will be you one day. When once again, the tables turn and it's you in that position. This is why even when I take care of people, this is just me. Everybody's different. I treat them as if it was my mom and daddy. I don't care what color, race they are, whatever. They know when Ruth is in the building. So my first name is Ruth. I've mentioned that videos ago, but I go by Angelica. But when Ruth is in the building, they know she takes care of me. You getting A1 care. That's just me. But because of different things that I've went through, things that I've experienced, it was already in me. Learning to serve through different jobs, learning to be put in situations where I had to learn different people's personalities, learn to walk away and let go. That's why I can talk about it. That's a part of your history. So even when I talked about in the beginning about having experience for jobs where we want to have jobs and get hired, and but you don't have the experience in 6 months a year. People want titles and callings because you got degrees and you got educated, intellectual about everything. You can dissect this and that, but then you don't have experience. Because I've seen people come on a job that they have all of those things, but they ain't got a bit of common sense, just the basics. You got the degree that got you through there, but then you don't have no compassion. You don't have empathy for people. If you don't know how to treat people, I don't care what job it is, healthcare, McDonald's, the school system, whatever it is, you have no experience. It's going to show at some point. That's when we see the overflow of you basically, right? Somebody's color, how you feel about them. That's how you treat people. God taught me unconditional love. Sometimes with many people, besides those on the extreme level, with children, it will teach you unconditional love through having children. Teach you patience, sacrifice, and beyond for what you need to do for your children, wanting to grow yourself. And I'm not talking about even level of people just vanity, like that. Ordinary people, where you become humble, where you know yourself, where sometimes you will have things as a stepping stone. You learn from your mistakes. You may have to use assistance for some time. Some will use it. I pay taxes just like you pay taxes. I work hard. I may have made some bad decisions for things because of choices you made. You may have children or fathers, I don't say baby daddies, but they may not be taking care of children. So you need extra help. But then I worked 2 jobs and went to school. I need extra help because I wasn't getting it from their father. Despitefully. That was to get your heart right. Do stuff as far as putting them on child support, keep the kids from them, or, do spiteful things. You do have women that do that, but not all women do that. So you got to, eat and spit the bones out with different things. What applies to you? Everything that applies to certain people doesn't apply to everybody. So when I had proved people wrong, and not even by just saying it, by my actions, by my fruit, because I don't have to talk everything. Somebody's always watching. But how I move, how I function. So when people would think, even with daycare, that I'm a typical single mom. You know, I obtained favor in different areas of my life because of my fruit. Didn't have all the money in the world, didn't get everything, and didn't get a silver spoon. But how you obtain favor with God and with man. So I tell people, I'm already rich. I'm rich with the lessons that I learned. The wisdom and knowledge that I've acquired over time, understanding. I can apply that to every aspect. That's why even though I see certain things, I still can go out and go to the store and somebody right. So before I got here, it was a process. Come on, play with me. It was a process that I had to go through. But God began to teach me. He began to allow the Holy Spirit to and deal with me and self-reflect on my own self, my own issues. That's why I can talk to you about it. 14 years ago, and even more recent, even with his having kids, through relationships, he used those things to teach me. You can't do what everybody else does and get away with it. There's consequences. There's karma. Some people say, but I know you reap what you sow. I thought people it wasn't fair. I'm like, they getting away with this. Why can't they never do like a kid want to stomp your feet? And be like, I can't never do nothing. But I thank God for that chastisement. Then my heart gets heavy for people. I don't have to get to a point where I have to experience everything everybody else experiences to be compassionate and empathetic towards it. So before he formed you in your mother's womb, he already knew you. So he already knew the heart that I had. He already knew, even though I may have not gotten throughout my life throughout the process, that he had to work on me. He knew I was going to make mistakes and fall short in different areas, but he uses every aspect of life to help you grow and be a force to be reckoned with. So what people thought was your downfall would talk about you, joke about it, mock about it. God used every aspect of your life, the good and the bad, to help build you up, to help be a builder of the kingdom. Play with me. So be the best. Sometimes I tell people in the rearview mirror, we don't want to be like Lot wife and look back and look back and get stuck in the past and stuff. But sometimes glance back to the past. Come on, bring it right back to memory lane. Take a glance back to the past where God has brought you from, where it could have been you. How many people that you may have went to school with, people that you may have grew up with, people you may have worked with that's not here anymore. So when I do what I do on my assignment and my job, this is my first job, my first work. In God's time, God looks in perfect timing. God is precise with how he moves. So when I felt like I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't at a place where, Lord, I would use me, why not? Transparent enough and real enough and humble enough, speak the truth, but at the same time, to stay in my lane. Have the ability to still respect and honor men and women of God. That's why I say people get church hurts and different things, and this and when take it where you want to take it for. Get church hurt, different things, and fall away from the church. But because he's kept me so long, because of what I've been through, that I've had with God, that's why I still stay with him. That's why I ride with him. That's why some people I don't understand how you follow. But you've been a Christian your whole life. And now you're going to follow that God is rising up. Because this is why I respect God and I thank him because he's so real. He's the realest teacher you will ever have, okay? When you get close to him, and get to know him, he's the realest teacher, okay? The realest father. Thank God for Jesus, my life in a way that I will understand, okay? Because everybody doesn't learn the same, right? You learn from different teachers, different things, So he is what you need to get your attention. Sometimes it's extreme, sometimes you don't need as much. It just depends on the person. We don't understand the same, right? But how he will use everything in your life. Don't miss your visitation. Don't be so consumed and caught up in yourself and titles and all these different things. God needs somebody he uses to humble at heart that's still teachable. Anybody, even my kids. Don't ever think you get so high that you can't be taught. Every day of your life you should be learning and growing. Some get so caught up in that you so high and smoking in the cloud that can't nobody tell you nothing. Come on. Can't nobody tell you nothing. You end up going astray. You're going down dead end. When stuff gets real, you end up can't handle the pressure. We all go through stuff, and if you really Christians, I'm a believer that I tell you like it is. It's hard. Like I said, God didn't give me things of spirit. He didn't give me everything at one time. It was over the course of my life. When I took hits, he used me when I was a little girl. He'd take you back down memory lane. As a little girl, when I used to fight demons, didn't understand. I was a little girl. I don't know how old it was. Me and my cousin was in there. He allowed me to be in certain experiences, and certain different things, but I was young, where it was my cousin the Bible and things. Nowadays, you see stuff, people be running, like tell them something evil. You ain't about that life. So certain things God will let you experience. Dreams. I was a dreamer. When I got older and closer to God in relationship, that's when the dreams came. So my whole point of me saying is even going down memory lane. Can you handle what God gives you? Can you handle your gift, your anointing, and your calling? We've seen so many people that have prostituted their anointing, prostituted their gift. They get caught up in their self when it's about being. Now you more consumed with you and how people see you. You more consumed with being accepted or that. Some people. So what is it that when that gets touched, now you want to fall away. Now you don't want to do your assignment. That's why I don't discredit the experience. Because experience will help you get to your purpose. But at the same time, that's why I share certain things. Why go through certain heartache and pain when you can learn from somebody? Everybody wants to. You have a remnant that's out right now that is sharing their story, sharing their testimony, teaching or talking in a way that you can understand to say, hey, don't go down that road, detour. But because we think we grown, we want to learn the hard way, the caution. And we got a generation that suffers. You don't think judgment it ain't gonna come on folks? Everybody. You can think what you want. But it's things that you done dealt with in your family and came back around. And the live to see it. That can be real, young. So who's the real savages? Let's wrap this up. Who's the real savages? When you could take over, I said, point blank kill somebody, get away with it. How to get away with murder. Using folks. Come on, we don't even think about how you say this ain't so deep, boy. This ain't so deep. That takeover spirit. Take over. I'm gonna use your gift, I'm gonna use your talent, your athletic ability, your intellectualism, I'm gonna put my name on it. That takeover spirit. Throughout history. Takeover spirit. You see the unfolding and the exposing. You reap what you see. Why it's not the time to follow evil or to follow wrong. So many are delusional. Don't even realize what you're seeing. Don't wait till it's too late. As long as you are alive and breathing, you have the opportunity to make change. Speak to our people, those that are Black, speak to our people for a reason. We want to see our people grow and mature and prosper. Stop getting so sensitive all the time when we speak about things that we see. You want to see your people grow. You help build up your community. Why we wouldn't want it too? If I can respect and love and take somebody that doesn't look like me, you don't think I don't want it for myself and my own children? So now I'm at the point, look, I work hard. I watch go through stuff. Now I say, Lord, judge this, man. It's hurtful to even sit back and watch the suffering or the delusions that people don't even see the grander, the greater impact or even happening. That shows you how deep mental slavery is. So even being dealt with wisely, don't even realize you. But then I don't know. Let's march. Man, sit down somewhere. First, deal with your own stuff first. It makes it hard for people to even listen to you. When you ain't even dealing with your own house, go up behind closed doors. People just see you now. History is striving to repeat it. It's growth because people don't even realize it's basically like somebody giving you a gun but not telling you to kill nobody. Like Russian roulette, playing with your life. You got people not only playing with their own lives, but they're playing with other people's lives. This is why I understand among them. Don't touch the unclean things. Move out the way. I had to learn the hard way. But that does not mean I'm not a restorer, a redeemer of the time. He taught me how to love right through my own hurt. So that's why now, not only my people, but other races, other people, I can treat right. Time and the season for everything. Look back there now. And the bitterness and the hate and anger and some of it, we know all this. There are certain things that people did to help contribute to it. God handled the details. Okay? You just do your part. Don't forget to stock up on your stuff. Use wisdom. You got food stamps and people got pandemic food stamps. Don't go out buying a state strength. Stock up for your kids. That's the other thing. That's the other thing. I said, do you know the wealth of the wicked is stored for the righteous? But then too, how God will allow things to happen. Because people think it's always just people just doing stuff. How God will allow situations, things to happen for you to get yourself together. How some have throughout history, right? They were already prepared. They were ready. They were stocking up. They had advantages, right? Many of us as minorities, we had a disadvantage. But then when God will allow certain things to happen, even just example, stamps. You got kids. Stock up your house. Prepare for your kids. Stop selling them. You can be a blessing to somebody. Help somebody else. Okay? Little extra money we get, these little stimulants and stuff. Stock up on your house. Pay your tithes. Give money back to the Lord. To the storehouse. Stop being greedy. Especially for those of y'all, you go to the pantry and go to the church, want to get help, and you already got stuff. Stuff like that used to bother me. But anyway, stock up your stuff. Okay? Everybody is not the same. But stock up your stuff. So there is no excuse for some people. People want God to come down and say, stock up, prepare, leave him alone. Don't touch this. Don't touch. That small, still voice. Don't buy that. Get this for your house. Do this. Get organized. Leave that person alone. That small, still voice that leads and guides you. When you have too much noise, you got too much chaos. You're so consumed with too many things, you can't hear clearly. That's why it's not good to always be around a whole bunch of people all the time. So then that means you can't even think for yourself. So then you have a lot of people with that mental slavery. Not just black people. If I'm trying to use or manipulate you, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear. And don't say, it's like somebody walking off a cliff. Like you just walking. Somebody telling you about to walk off a cliff, but you just keep on walking. I can do that with the cell phone, with different things. You're not even paying attention. Walking off a cliff to your destruction. They say if they jump over a bridge, you gonna jump too? You can't follow that, right? Because some stuff you leaves you hurt and pain. There's probably quite a few people that wish they wouldn't have botched their body. Be thankful for what God gave you and how He created you. Okay? Learn to love you. Be the best you that you have altered you to be. Sometimes you got to be stripped of all that. Look, sometimes you got to strip us of all those theologies, different things that we were taught, things that we thought was okay. Sometimes we have to strip us of those things. Be the best you that you can be. All right, that's it. Y'all be blessed. Have a wonderful day. Get y'all memory lane and look back over your life where God has brought you from. Get rid of those strong delusions. I'll talk to y'all soon. This is Angelica with In God's Time. Have a wonderful day.